Hey friends, today I'm going to review Ellie Land's debut novel Good Me, Bad Me, a novel that became Sunday Times bestseller after just 3 days of sale. Now, before turning into full-time writer, Ellie Land worked as child mental health nurse for about a period of 10 years, and her knowledge about child psyche can clearly be seen in this novel. This novel is about constant inner struggle of a teenage girl to leave behind the haunting memories of her horrifying past and adjust in her unsettling present where she feels isolated and lost. The story is narrated from the perspective of a teenage girl, Annie, who is raised by a sexually abusive mother who is also a serial child killer and makes Annie play a special role in her horrific acts. Now, one day, when Annie finds it difficult to witness her mother's crimes any further, she decides to go to the police and hands in her mother to them. Now, Annie is given a fresh new start, a new name, Millie, a new foster family, and a new school. Her foster father, Mike, is a psychologist and her therapist. She also has a foster mother, Zeskia, and a foster sister, Phoebe, who is not at all happy with Millie being there and tries to make her life hell in every possible way, both at school and at home. Now, Mike prepares Millie for her mother's trial, where she is called as the main witness for her prosecution. Now, as the court case draws nearer, Millie finds herself fighting against the emotional grip of her mother, whose voice keeps on haunting her, telling that nobody else would want Millie. But Millie tries to cling to the thought that one day she could be liked and accepted for who she is and for where she comes from. Coming over to Ellie Land's narrative style, let me tell you, it is a voice-driven novel narrated from the point of view of a teenage girl, Annie, or we can say Millie in first-person voice. Ellie Land successfully creates a consistent narrative voice for her protagonist Millie that changes and develops throughout the story. The use of short, crisp sentences for Millie's narrative gives her character a realistic feel and allows the readers to enter her mind and witness her inner struggle to be a good person she longs to be, even as her mother's voice pushes her to feed the bad wolf inside her. The reader also gets to witness her guilt of being a part of her mother's horrific act and her fear that her mother's traits are buried deep in her DNA and there is something inherently bad about her. Land also shows nightmares of Millie's childhood in form of flashbacks throughout the story, and this keeps the reader glued to the story. Coming over to my personal opinion about this novel, I can say the story develops nature versus nurture argument extremely well. It shows how the traits inherited from violent parents remain dormant in loving and caring environment, and how these traits grow in strength when the same person is in abusive and violent environment. All the characters of the story are drawn extremely well, and I like Ellie Land's portrayal of Millie's character. In spite of being a damaged soul, she tries to cope up with her present where she faces continuous bullying by her foster sister Phoebe and her friends. The only thing Millie longs for is acceptance, and she struggles continuously with the good and bad sides of her personality throughout the story. The story also shows the impact of dysfunctional family on a child and pressure on a teenage girl to part herself from her abusive past and start living in a new environment with a new identity. Verdict time. I can say it is a compelling, controversial, slow-paced, disturbing thriller driven by the characters and their inner turmoils that keeps the reader hooked right until the last page and stay in mind for a long period of time. I would give it 4.5 stars on 5, and I must say it is an unputdownable, disturbing thriller. If you find my review interesting, then please like and subscribe, and don't forget to visit my blog Passion for Books.